There is a strange paradox that arrives at the end of the day. The house grows quiet. The world outside softens its edges and pulls a blanket of darkness over itself. The noise of traffic, of conversation, of demands and deadlines finally fades. And in that quiet, another sound begins, one that is often louder than anything you heard all day. It is the sound of your own mind, replaying the day's events. It is the quiet, persistent whisper of guilt. It follows you into this room, into this bed, and it settles over you like a weight, a feeling that you didn't do enough, or you didn't do it right, that you were not patient enough, not kind enough, not productive enough. The day is over, and yet the accounting has just begun. The inner critic clears its throat and begins its nightly report, listing every perceived failure, every missed opportunity, every moment you fell short of some impossible standard. It speaks in a voice of profound certainty, a voice that sounds so much like your own, you have come to believe it is the voice of truth. It insists that your rest must be earned, and tonight you have not earned it. So you lie here in the stillness, carrying the heavy, invisible burden of a day that is already gone, and the anxious weight of a day that has not yet arrived. It is an exhaustion that sleep cannot seem to touch, because the work continues even after the lights are out. What if this nightly ritual is not a requirement for being a good person? What if this weight you carry is not a measure of your conscience, but simply a heavy stone you were handed long ago and were never told you could set down? Over the course of our time together, as you drift toward sleep, we will explore this feeling not as an enemy to be defeated, but as a messenger to be understood. We will learn to listen to its story without letting that story define our peace. And we will discover that beneath the crushing weight of guilt lies a profound and unshakable worthiness that has been there all along, waiting patiently for you to return home to it. This journey tonight is an act of gentle reclamation. It is about creating a space, right here in your own mind and body, where rest is not a reward, but a birthright. A space where you can finally, truly let go. Consider the nature of this weight. It is not a single solid thing. It is more like 1,000 tiny threads, each one a memory, a worry, a self-correction. A thread for the email you forgot to send. A thread for the sharp tone you used when you were tired. A thread for the moment you chose to rest instead of doing one more thing on the list. Individually, they seem insignificant, but woven together, night after night, they create a heavy cloak that smothers your ability to find peace. This cloak feels real. It feels justified. The voice of guilt is a master of disguise, often appearing as responsibility or conscientiousness. It tells you that if you were to let go of this weight, you would become careless, selfish, or lazy. It has convinced you that this constant low-level pain is the price you must pay for being a caring and dedicated human being. And so you carry it, believing it is your duty. You carry it through your work, through your relationships, and you carry it here, to the one place you are meant to find sanctuary. But true responsibility does not steal your sleep. True accountability is not a chronic state of feeling bad about yourself. It is clear, specific, and it leads to repair, not to endless self-punishment. The guilt that follows you to bed is different. It is a fog. It is a vague, pervasive sense of not enoughness that has no solution, because it is not connected to a specific problem. It is a loop, a cycle of self-criticism that offers no path to resolution, only the promise of more criticism tomorrow. Think about it this way. Imagine you spent your entire day walking with a small, sharp pebble in your shoe. At first, it's a minor annoyance, but with every step, it creates a point of pressure, a small friction. By the end of the day, your entire foot is sore. Your gait has changed to compensate. Your back aches from walking unevenly. You are exhausted not just from the walking, but from the constant, draining presence of that small, persistent irritation. Guilt is that pebble in the shoe of the soul. It is a small point of self-judgment that, carried throughout the day, creates a pervasive sense of soreness in your spirit. It makes you walk through life off balance. And when you finally lie down, you feel the accumulated ache of it all. Tonight, we are simply going to stop. We are going to sit down on the edge of the bed and gently take off the shoe. We are going to find that pebble, look at it with curiosity, and then set it aside. We are not going to pretend it wasn't there. We are not going to judge ourselves for not removing it sooner. We are simply going to acknowledge the relief of letting it go. This process is not about becoming a perfect person who never makes mistakes. It is about unlearning the belief that you must be in a constant state of penance to be worthy of love and rest. It is about understanding that your inherent value is not measured by your productivity or your flawless performance in life's many roles. Your value simply is. It is the ground you stand on. It is the sky above you. The clouds of guilt and self-doubt may pass through, but they can never, ever diminish the sky itself. So as you settle more deeply into your bed, allow yourself to entertain a new possibility. The possibility that the voice of guilt is not the voice of wisdom. That it is, perhaps, the voice of an old fear. A fear of not being loved. A fear of being abandoned. A fear of being seen as inadequate. And tonight, we will meet that fear not with more criticism, but with a gentle and profound compassion. We will let it know that you are safe now, that you are here, and that you are ready for a different kind of quiet. A quiet that is not filled with anxious accounting, but with a deep, healing, and deserved peace. The intention is not to wage a war against a part of yourself, but to call a truce, to lay down the weapons of self-judgment just for tonight. You are simply creating a sanctuary in time, a space of a few hours where the only requirement is to breathe, to be, to allow your body to do what it knows how to do so well, which is to rest, to repair, and to heal. Let this be your only task. There is nothing to fix, nothing to figure out. The only work is to soften, to release, and to allow. Allow the mattress to hold your weight. Allow the blanket to offer its warmth. And allow these words to be a gentle guide, leading you away from the noisy shoreline of the day and out into the calm, quiet waters of deep, restorative sleep. The healing is not in the striving, it is in the surrendering. And your surrender can begin now with your very next breath. To begin this gentle process of setting the weight down, we must first get to know it a little better. Not to analyze it or to fight it, but simply to see it clearly for what it is. So for a moment, let's turn our attention inward, toward the source of that heavy feeling. Let's give a name to the voice that speaks of your perceived failings in the quiet of the night. We can call it the inner critic, the judge, or the voice of guilt. The name doesn't matter. What matters is recognizing that it is a part of you, but it is not all of you. It is a voice, not the voice. It is a broadcast on one of many channels. And tonight, We are learning that we don't have to keep the volume turned all the way up. What does this voice sound like? For some, it is harsh and scolding, like an angry authority figure from the past. For others, it is dripping with disappointment, a sad, sighing voice that speaks of how much better things could have been. And for many of us, it sounds exactly like our own voice, which is what makes it so convincing. Take a moment to just listen. You don't need to search for it. It is likely already there, waiting in the wings. What are its favorite phrases? It often speaks in absolutes and criticisms. You should have known better. Why didn't you try harder? You always mess things up. You're not doing enough. If only you had been more, and you can fill in the blank. More patient, more organized, more thoughtful. It is a master of hindsight, pointing out every flaw with perfect clarity after the moment has passed. It compares you to others, or to an idealized version of yourself that no human could ever live up to. It keeps a meticulous record of your mistakes and forgets to mention your successes. Just notice these phrases as they arise. See them for what they are. Habitual thoughts, repeated so often that they have worn deep grooves in the mind. They are not objective truths. They are the script of a character that has been playing the same role for a very long time. Now, let's explore where this voice lives in your body. Because these thoughts are not just abstract ideas. They have a physical reality. As you continue to breathe softly and evenly, bring your awareness to your physical form, lying here in this bed. We're going on a gentle search, not for something that is wrong, but simply for information. Where does the feeling of guilt reside in you? For many, it gathers as a tightness in the chest, a constricting band that makes it feel difficult to take a full, deep breath. It can feel like an unseen pressure, a weight sitting directly on your heart. You might notice this area now. Just feel it, without any need to change it. Simply acknowledge its presence. For others, guilt takes up residence in the stomach. It feels like a cold, hard knot in the solar plexus, a churning or an emptiness. It is the feeling that accompanies the thought, I did something wrong. It's a visceral, primal sensation. Just bring your attention there. Let your breath move around it, creating a little space. Perhaps you feel it in your throat, as a lump that makes it hard to swallow. The physical manifestation of words unsaid or feelings unexpressed. Or maybe you carry it in your shoulders and the back of your neck. This is a very common place to hold the weight of responsibility and self-blame. It can feel like a heavy cloak you can never take off, a dull, persistent ache that contributes to your exhaustion. Wherever you feel it, in your jaw, in your lower back, in your hands, just allow your awareness to rest there gently. This is the physical signature of the inner critic. This is how its voice translates into the language of your body. The crucial step here is to observe all of this without judgment. This is perhaps the most radical and healing thing we can do. We are not going to judge the voice. We are not going to be angry at the physical sensation. We are not going to criticize ourselves for having a critic. That would simply be adding another layer of guilt on top of the first. Instead, we are shifting our position. We are moving from being the one who is judged to being the one who is compassionately witnessing the entire process. Imagine you are sitting on the bank of a river. The thoughts of the critic are like leaves floating by on the current. You should have. There goes a leaf. You're not enough. There goes another. Your job is not to jump into the river and grab the leaves, or to try and stop the river from flowing. Your job is simply to sit on the bank and watch them float past. You notice them, you might even read the words written on them, and then you let them go on their way. In the same way, you can witness the sensations in your body, the tightness in your chest, the knot in your stomach. These are like weather patterns moving through your internal landscape. They are not you. They are experiences you are having. By observing in this way, you create a space between you, the calm, aware observer, and the pattern of guilt. In this space, freedom is born. In this space, you realize you are not the storm. You are the sky that holds the storm. The storm will pass. The sky remains. This inner critic, this voice of guilt, did not arise from nowhere. In some way, long ago, it was likely trying to protect you. It may have been a strategy to avoid criticism from others by criticizing yourself first. It might have been a way to try and control outcomes, to ensure you were always on your best behavior, so you would be safe and accepted. Its methods are harsh and outdated, but its original intention may have come from a place of fear, a desire to keep you from getting hurt. We don't have to agree with its methods to acknowledge its origin. By seeing it as a misguided protector rather than a malicious enemy, we can bring a new quality of softness and curiosity to it. We can begin to relate to this part of ourselves with compassion rather than condemnation. So for these last few moments, just rest here in this state of gentle awareness, acknowledging the voice, feeling its echo in your body, and watching it all from a place of quiet, non-judgmental presence. You are simply noticing the pattern. You have turned on a soft light in a previously dark room, and for the first time, you are seeing the shape of the furniture clearly. This act of seeing is the beginning of everything. There is nothing more to do right now. Just breathe and rest in this newfound awareness. You have successfully named the critic, and in doing so, you have already begun to reclaim your own power and your own peace. Now that we have gently observed the inner critic and felt its presence in the body, let's explore the story it tells. Because underneath the endless loop of shoulds and should nots lies a much deeper, foundational belief. It is a story that has been learned so early and practiced for so long that it feels less like a story and more like a fundamental law of the universe. This is the story of self-sacrifice. It is the deeply ingrained belief that your value as a person is directly proportional to how much you give, how much you do for others, and how little you ask for in return. For many of us, this is the core software running in the background of our minds. It's the silent equation that dictates our choices and fuels our guilt. My worth equals my usefulness to others. Take a moment and let that sink in. Does it feel familiar? Does some part of you resonate with the idea that your right to take up space on this earth must be constantly earned through service and self-denial? This isn't a flaw in your character. It's a story you were likely taught with the best of intentions. Perhaps you grew up in a family or a culture where praise was given for being helpful, quiet, and compliant. You learned that being a good person meant putting the needs of others before your own, always. You were celebrated for your selflessness, for your ability to anticipate what others needed and provide it, often at your own expense. You might have watched a parent or a caregiver model this behavior, tirelessly giving of themselves until there was nothing left, and you learned that this was what love looked like. This was what it meant to be responsible, to be noble, And so, you learn the script. You learn to silence your own needs, to quiet your own desires, and to find your sense of self-worth in the approval and appreciation of others. This story of self-sacrifice is not inherently bad. It often comes from a beautiful, compassionate place, the desire to connect, to contribute, to be of service. The problem arises when this story becomes the only story. It becomes toxic when your own well-being is consistently placed at the very bottom of the priority list, or isn't on the list at all. It becomes a source of deep suffering when you believe that caring for yourself is selfish, that resting is lazy, and that having needs of your own is an inconvenience to others. This is where guilt finds its most fertile ground. Let's witness the pattern. Think about the last time you felt a sharp pang of guilt. What was the trigger? Was it when you said no to a request, even though you were already overwhelmed? Was it when you took an hour for yourself to do something you enjoy, while a list of chores waited? Was it when you felt tired and decided to rest instead of pushing through to be more productive? Was it when you bought something for yourself that wasn't a practical necessity? For those who live by the story of self-sacrifice, these moments are the primary triggers for guilt. The inner critic flares up, armed with its foundational belief. You are being selfish. You should be doing something for someone else. Your needs are not as important as the needs of others. Rest is a luxury you haven't earned. And because this story feels so true, so morally right, you believe it. The guilt feels justified. It feels like a proper and correct response to your selfish behavior. And so, the pattern is reinforced. You learn that setting a boundary, honoring your energy levels, or tending to your own joy comes with a heavy price, the painful weight of guilt. To avoid this pain, you revert to the familiar pattern. You say yes when you mean no. You keep working when you are exhausted, and you put yourself last, again and again. It is a perfect, self-sustaining loop. The story creates the guilt, and the desire to avoid guilt reinforces the story. But what if we could look at this story with compassion? What if we could honor the intention behind it? This pattern, this story of self-sacrifice didn't begin as a way to punish you. It began as a strategy for survival. For a child, survival depends on the connection and approval of caregivers. Learning to be helpful, compliant, and undemanding is a brilliant strategy to ensure you are seen as good, lovable, and worthy of care. It's a way to feel safe in the world. It's a way to earn your place in the family, in the community. It's a way to secure love. Your younger self was not wrong to learn this. Your younger self was intelligent, adaptive, and did exactly what was needed to navigate the world you were in. So, as you lie here, breathing gently, see if you can offer a moment of gratitude to that part of you that learned this story so well. Thank it for trying to keep you safe. Thank it for its dedication to ensuring you were loved. It has been working so hard for so long, using the only tools it had. You are not trying to tear down this old part of yourself. You are simply recognizing that the strategy is outdated. You are no longer that vulnerable child. You are an adult who can now learn new ways to feel safe and worthy, ways that do not require you to abandon yourself. The story of self-sacrifice insists that there is a finite amount of care in the world, and if you take some for yourself, you are stealing it from someone else. It sees love and energy as a zero-sum game. But the deeper truth is that your capacity to genuinely care for others is directly linked to how well you care for yourself. A well that is never replenished will eventually run dry. A lamp that burns all its oil will go dark. True generosity flows from a place of fullness, not from a place of depletion. The guilt you feel when you rest is based on a false premise. It's based on the outdated belief that your exhaustion is a sign of your virtue. But what if your exhaustion is simply a sign that you are exhausted? What if it is not a moral failing, but a biological reality? A signal from your wise body that it is time to stop, to refuel, to come home to yourself. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, you are planting the seed of a new story. A story where your worth is inherent and not dependent on your output. A story where rest is not a weakness, but a sacred act of self-preservation. A story where caring for yourself is the most generous thing you can do for everyone you love. You don't have to believe this new story fully right now. You only have to be willing to consider it, to create a small crack in the old, rigid belief system and let a little light in. The story of self-sacrifice has been your constant companion for years. Tonight, you are simply acknowledging it, honoring its origins, and recognizing that you have outgrown it. It's like a coat that kept you warm as a child. But now, it's too tight in the shoulders, and it restricts your breath. It is time to gently, lovingly take it off and lay it aside. And in its place, you can begin to weave a new story, one of sustainable compassion, one of integrated wholeness, one where you are just as deserving of your own care as anyone else. As you lie here, exploring these deep-seated patterns of guilt and self-sacrifice, it is so easy to feel that this struggle is yours alone. The inner critic is an expert at isolation. It convinces you that you are uniquely flawed, that everyone else has figured out how to be a good, competent, and energetic person, and that you are the only one who feels this crushing weight. I want you to hear this and to let it settle deep into your bones, into the very cells of your body. You are not alone in this. This feeling is not a sign of your personal failure. It is, in fact, one of the most common and shared struggles of the human experience, particularly for those who are kind, conscientious, and empathetic. You feel this way not because there is something wrong with you, but because you are a caring person living in a world that often sends confusing and contradictory messages about your worth. Think about it. Our culture frequently praises the virtues of tireless work and selfless giving. We celebrate the person who burns the midnight oil, who is always available, who never says no. We are taught to admire hustle, productivity, and the relentless pursuit of more. At the same time, we are bombarded with messages about self-care, about the importance of rest and setting boundaries. It's a profound paradox. We are told to give everything we have, and then we are told to make sure we have enough for ourselves. We are told our value lies in our service to others, and then we are told we must put ourselves first. It is no wonder we feel confused. It is no wonder we feel guilty. The guilt you feel is a learned response to this impossible cultural balancing act. It is the echo of 1,000 messages, spoken and unspoken, that you have absorbed over your lifetime. It is the internalization of a societal pressure that asks you to be both endlessly productive and perfectly serene, both completely selfless and radically self-loving. No one can meet these contradictory demands. The feeling of, not enoughness, is the inevitable result of trying. So please, release the burden of believing this is a unique and personal flaw. Imagine, just for a moment, all the other people in the world who are lying in bed right now, at this very hour, in your city, in your country, on the other side of the planet. Imagine how many of them are also staring into the darkness, their minds replaying the day, feeling that same familiar knot of guilt in their stomachs, that same heavy ache in their chests. They are worrying about the email they didn't answer, the child they were impatient with, the project that isn't perfect. They are feeling that they have not done enough, not been enough. You are part of a vast, silent community of caring souls, all wrestling with the same invisible weight. There is a profound comfort in this recognition. It moves the struggle from the realm of personal shame into the realm of shared human experience. It is not your fault. It is a condition of our times. And understanding this is the first step toward releasing its power over you. Let's also take a moment to validate the sheer exhaustion of it all. Can you acknowledge how incredibly tiring it is to live this way? It takes a tremendous amount of energy to carry this constant self-scrutiny. Think of the mental energy spent on the endless loop of self-criticism, on replaying conversations, on anticipating judgment, on calculating how to be better tomorrow. Think of the emotional energy spent suppressing your own needs, managing the feelings of resentment that can arise, and constantly trying to be pleasant and accommodating even when you feel drained. And think of the physical energy it takes to push your body past its limits, day after day, ignoring its signals for rest, because the voice of guilt tells you that stopping is a form of failure. This is not a small burden. It is an invisible, full-time job that you have been doing on top of everything else. It is the job of being your own harshest critic, your own most demanding boss. Of course you are tired. Your exhaustion is not a sign of weakness. It is a testament to your strength. It is proof of how hard you have been trying for so long to live up to an impossible standard. Let this affirmation settle into your heart. Your feelings are a valid response to the pressure you have been under. Your tiredness is valid. Your frustration is valid. Your longing for peace is valid. You don't have to justify these feelings or explain them away. You don't have to apologize for them. They are simply true. They are the honest report from the front lines of your own life. For so long, you may have been treating these feelings as problems to be solved. Why am I so tired? I should have more energy. Why am I feeling resentful? I should be more grateful. This is the inner critic's trick. It judges you for the very symptoms that it creates. Tonight, we are doing something different. We are meeting these feelings with simple, unconditional acceptance. We are letting them be here. We are listening to their message. And their message is simple. Something has to change. The way you have been operating is not sustainable. This validation is not an indulgence. It is a vital and necessary step in healing. When we constantly invalidate our own feelings, we create an internal war. We spend our energy fighting against our own experience. When we validate our feelings, we call a truce. We align with ourselves. We create a sense of inner safety and trust. It becomes possible to say, yes, I am exhausted, and that makes sense, given everything I've been carrying. Now, from this place of acceptance, what is the most compassionate thing I can do for myself? Tonight, The most compassionate thing you can do is to simply rest in this shared truth. The truth that you are a human being, not a human doing. The truth that your worth is not tied to your productivity. And the truth that you are far from alone in the struggle. You are connected by this common thread to millions of others who are also learning, slowly and gently, to set down this weight. Feel that connection now. Feel the quiet solidarity. Let it dissolve the sharp edges of your isolation. Let it be a balm for the part of you that has felt so alone in this. The burden feels lighter when we realize we are all carrying a piece of it together. And the path forward feels less daunting when we know we are not walking it alone. As you breathe in a sense of this shared humanity. As you breathe out the feeling of personal shame and isolation. In, we are in this together. Out, this is not my fault. Let this gentle rhythm carry you closer to sleep, wrapped in the comforting, normalizing truth that your experience is a valid and deeply human one. Having acknowledged that you are not alone, that your exhaustion is valid, we now arrive at a very simple, yet profoundly radical act. An act that your inner critic will likely resist, calling it lazy or indulgent. But it is, in fact, an act of deep wisdom and courage. It is the act of giving yourself permission to be tired, permission to stop trying so hard just for tonight, permission to simply be exactly as you are without any need for improvement or apology. For just a moment, I want you to say these words to yourself, silently, in the sanctuary of your own mind. I give myself permission to be tired. Feel the resonance of that statement. Let it land. For so much of your life, you may have been fighting your tiredness, seeing it as an inconvenience, an enemy to be overcome with caffeine, willpower, and more effort. You have been pushing against the current, trying to force your body and mind to operate beyond their natural capacity. What would it feel like, just for this moment, to stop pushing? What would it feel like to lay down the oars and simply float? You have permission to let go of the battle. Your body knows it is tired. Your mind knows it is tired. Your spirit knows it is tired. The only part of you that is arguing is the inner critic, the taskmaster who believes that your worth is measured by your forward momentum. But tonight, you are not listening to that voice. You are listening to the deeper, quieter wisdom of your own being. And it is telling you that it is time to rest. Let's honor the immense struggle you have been through. Acknowledge the incredible amount of energy it takes to function in the world while carrying the inner weight of guilt and self-criticism. Every decision is heavier. Every interaction is more complex. Every task requires an extra layer of effort. Because you are not just doing the task, you are also managing the internal commentary about how you are doing the task. It is like trying to run a race with a backpack full of rocks. You have been running this race for years. You have become so accustomed to the weight that you may have forgotten what it feels like to run without it. The fatigue you feel is not just from the race itself, but from the heroic effort of carrying that extra load step after step, day after day. Your body has been keeping the score. The tension in your shoulders, the fatigue behind your eyes, the deep ache in your bones. These are not signs of failure. They are the honest records of your resilience. They are the physical evidence of your incredible strength in the face of a relentless internal pressure. So, honor that strength. Honor that struggle. Look upon your own tiredness not with judgment, but with a sense of awe and reverence. Look how hard I've been trying. Look how much I've been carrying. It makes perfect sense that I am this tired. This is the voice of compassion. It is the voice we are cultivating tonight. Now, let's gently release the need to apologize for it. This is a subtle but powerful habit for many who are caught in the story of self-sacrifice. There's an impulse to apologize for your own humanity. Apologize for being sick. Apologize for needing a day off. Apologize for not having the answer. Apologize for being sad. And especially, apologize, even if only to yourself, for being tired. The apology implies that your tiredness is an inconvenience to others, a failing on your part. It reinforces the belief that you are supposed to be an inexhaustible resource, a machine that never needs to recharge. Tonight, you are releasing that obligation. You do not need to apologize for having a human body with real limits. You do not need to apologize for having a nervous system that gets overwhelmed. You do not need to apologize for needing this moment of peace, this period of unconsciousness, this sacred time of repair. Your need for rest is not a character flaw. It is a biological imperative, as essential as air and water. Denying it is not a sign of strength. It is a form of self-abandonment. And tonight, you are choosing to come home to yourself. You are choosing to honor the simple, profound needs of your own being. So, let go of the apology that hovers on your lips or in your mind. In its place, cultivate a feeling of quiet entitlement, not an arrogant entitlement, but the deep, unshakable knowing that you are inherently worthy of rest. You do not have to earn it. You do not have to justify it. You are deserving of rest simply because you exist. Consider a tree. A tree does not apologize for losing its leaves in the winter and entering a period of dormancy. It does not berate itself for not producing fruit year-round. It simply follows the natural, wise rhythm of effort and rest. It gathers its energy, and then it lets go, trusting that this fallow period is essential for future growth. You are a part of nature, just like that tree. You too have seasons. You have times of growth and output, and you have times that are meant for rest and integration. The guilt you feel is the voice that tells you it must be summer all the time, but your body, in its deep wisdom, knows that winter is necessary. It knows that true strength is not found in endless activity, but in the ability to surrender to the rhythms of rest and renewal. Giving yourself this permission is not a passive act. It is an active choice. It is a conscious unburdening. You are actively choosing to value your well-being over your productivity, just for this sacred period of time between sunset and sunrise. You are declaring your bedroom a sovereign nation of peace, a sanctuary where the laws of the outside world, the demands, the expectations, the constant need to prove your worth do not apply. Here, in this space, the only law is gentleness. The only requirement is to let go. Feel the relief that comes with this permission. Notice if your shoulders drop a little. Notice if your breath deepens. Notice if the frantic energy in your mind begins to calm. This is what happens when you stop fighting yourself. You create the conditions for true rest to begin. You are not giving up. You are not being lazy. You are wisely and courageously tending to the very source of your energy, your creativity, and your capacity to love. You are filling the well so that tomorrow or the day after, it may once again have something to offer. But for now, that is not your concern. Your only concern is this moment. this breath, this delicious feeling of sinking into the mattress, wrapped in the profound and healing permission to simply be tired. Having given yourself permission to be tired, let's now turn toward the feeling of guilt itself, not with the intention of forcing it out, but with a new spirit of gentle acceptance. For so long, your instinct has likely been to fight this feeling, to push it away, to argue with it, or to distract yourself from its uncomfortable presence. This is a natural response. No one enjoys the cold, heavy cloak of guilt. But what if our resistance to the feeling is what actually gives it more power? What if, by constantly struggling against it, we are keeping it stuck in place? Tonight, we will try a different approach. We will create a space of gentle acceptance around this feeling, allowing it to be here without letting it run the show. Let's begin with the breath. Your breath is a powerful and gentle anchor, a way to bring your awareness back into the present moment and into your body. As you continue to lie here, simply notice the natural rhythm of your breathing, the rise and fall of your chest or your abdomen. There's no need to change it or control it. Just observe it. Now, bring to mind that place in your body where you tend to feel guilt most strongly. The tightness in your chest, the knot in your stomach, the weight on your shoulders. Choose one of these places to focus on. With your next inhalation, imagine your breath flowing into and around this area of tension. Imagine your breath is a soft, warm, healing light. It is not trying to blast the feeling away. It is not trying to fix it. It is simply creating space. Imagine the breath gently loosening the tight grip of the sensation, infusing it with air and lightness. And as you exhale, just let go. Let the breath carry away a little bit of the tension without any force or effort. Inhale, creating space. Exhale, softening and releasing. Continue this for a few moments, breathing into the tightness, not to fight it, but to be with it, to surround it with care. This is an act of profound kindness toward yourself. You are sending a message to your body that even this uncomfortable sensation is welcome here, that it can be held with compassion. You are no longer at war with your own experience. Let's use an analogy. Think of guilt as a clenched fist in the center of your chest. For years, you have been trying to pry the fingers open, struggling against the tension, which only makes the fist clench tighter. The work tonight is not to force the fist open. The work is to soften everything around the fist, to soften your chest, your shoulders, your jaw, to breathe into the space around it. When you stop fighting the clenched fist and instead create a soft, accepting environment for it, something miraculous begins to happen. The fingers, feeling safe and no longer under attack, begin to naturally, gently, and in their own time, let go. The tension dissolves because the fight is over. This is the nature of gentle acceptance. We are not condoning the harsh words of the inner critic. We are simply holding the resulting feeling, the clenched fist of guilt, with unconditional compassion. We are treating this feeling with the same kindness we would offer to a scared and crying child. Imagine that. Imagine the feeling of guilt is not a monster, but a small, lost child within you. This child is convinced it has done something terribly wrong and is terrified of being punished or abandoned. It is crying out for reassurance. If you were to meet a real child in this state, you wouldn't scold it. You wouldn't tell it to stop crying. You wouldn't shame it for its feelings. You would, hopefully, get down on its level. you would speak in a soft voice. You might say, "I see you're really upset. It's okay. You are safe with me." This is the quality of attention we are bringing to our own inner world tonight. We are turning toward that hurting part of ourselves, the part that holds all the guilt and fear, and we are offering it unconditional compassion. You can even say these words silently to yourself, directing them toward the sensation in your body. It's okay. I'm here with you. You don't have to clench so tightly anymore. I am not going to abandon you. This may feel strange at first, but it is a powerful way to reparent yourself, to offer the comfort and safety that you may not have received when these patterns first formed. You are becoming your own compassionate caregiver. You are learning to hold your own pain with a gentle and loving presence. Notice what happens as you do this. You might not feel a dramatic shift, and that's perfectly okay. We are simply planting seeds. But you might notice a subtle softening, a little more space in your chest, a little less intensity in the knot in your stomach. You are learning that you can be with this feeling without being consumed by it. You are discovering that your compassionate awareness is larger than any feeling of guilt. This is not about making the guilt go away forever. It's about changing your relationship with it. It's about transforming it from an all-powerful judge into a manageable and sometimes even informative emotional signal. When it arises, you will no longer need to panic or fall into a spiral of self-blame. You will have a new skill, the ability to meet it with breath, with softness, with gentle acceptance. You can learn to say, there is that feeling of guilt again. I know this, old friend. Let me breathe with it for a moment. Let me see what it needs." This practice of creating a safe inner space is one of the most profound gifts you can give yourself. It transforms your inner landscape from a battlefield into a sanctuary. It means that no matter what happens in the outside world, you have a place within yourself where you can find peace, where you can be held, and where all parts of you are welcome. So continue to breathe. With each inhale, invite in more softness, more compassion, more acceptance. With each exhale, let go of the struggle. Let go of the resistance. Let go of the need to be perfect. Allow the clenched fist to soften at its own pace. Allow the scared child to feel your comforting presence. There is nothing to force. There is only this gentle, moment-by-moment process of allowing. You are safe. This feeling is just a feeling. It will pass. And you are here, breathing, holding it all with a vast and tender heart. Now that you have created a space of gentle acceptance, a safe harbor within yourself, we can move to the next step. This is not a forceful eviction of the feeling of guilt, but a conscious and gentle act of release. It is the moment where you choose, with quiet intention, to set down the burden you have been carrying. To do this, we will use the power of your imagination, which is a direct line to the subconscious mind where these deep patterns are held. Let your body continue to soften, sinking more deeply into the support of your bed. Allow your breath to be slow, easy, and calm. I want you to imagine the collective weight of all your guilt, all the shoulds, all the self-criticism, all the feelings of not being enough. Give this weight a form. For some, it might feel like a heavy, dense cloak draped over your shoulders and back. The kind of woolen cloak that gets heavier when it's soaked with rain. Feel its texture, its immense weight pressing you down into the mattress. For others, it might be a backpack filled with heavy, jagged stones. Each stone represents a specific regret, a particular moment of self-blame. Feel the straps digging into your shoulders, the strain it places on your spine. Or perhaps it is a solid leaden shield that you have been holding in front of your heart, believing it would protect you, but which has only served to exhaust your arms and isolate you from the world. It doesn't matter what form it takes. Just allow your mind to create a clear image, a tangible symbol of this burden you have been carrying for so long. Take a moment to truly be with this image. Acknowledge it. You might even offer it a silent word of thanks, as we did before. Thank you for trying to keep me in line. Thank you for trying to make me a good person. I understand the intention behind you. By doing this, we are not fighting it. We are making peace with it before we let it go. Now, with a slow, deliberate sense of purpose, you are going to set it down. If you are imagining the heavy cloak, feel yourself consciously unfastening the clasp at your neck. The mechanism might be a little rusty from years of disuse, but with a gentle effort, it comes undone. Feel the cloak begin to slide from your shoulders. With a deep exhale, let it fall away, slipping off your back and pooling on the floor beside your bed with a soft, muffled thud. It is no longer touching you. It is separate from you. If you are imagining the backpack full of stones, feel yourself reaching back and shrugging the straps off your shoulders. First one, then the other. Feel the immediate release of pressure. Let the backpack slide down your arms and place it gently on the floor. You do not need to throw it or smash it. You are simply setting it down. It is there, but it is no longer yours to carry, not tonight. If it is the leaden shield, feel your tired arms begin to lower it. Feel the muscles in your arms and chest trembling with relief as they are finally allowed to release their long-held tension. Place the shield on the ground beside you, letting it rest against the bed. Now, with this burden set aside, turn your attention to the immediate physical sensations in your body. This is a crucial step. The mind needs to connect the symbolic act with a real, felt experience of release. First, notice the places where the burden used to be. Notice your shoulders. Without the weight of the cloak or the backpack, do they feel lighter? Can you feel a new sense of space and freedom there? Perhaps you can even feel a warmth or a tingling sensation as blood flow returns to muscles that were chronically tensed. Let your shoulders soften and drop even further away from your ears. Bring your awareness to your chest and your heart. Without the shield or the constricting weight, can you feel an expansion? Take a slow, deep breath and feel how your lungs can now fill more completely, more easily. There is more room to breathe. The air feels cleaner, lighter. Feel the space around your heart, a sense of openness and vulnerability that is both tender and liberating. Scan your entire back, from your neck down to your tailbone. Feel the relief of being able to rest fully against the support beneath you, without any weight pressing down. Let your spine lengthen and release. Allow every vertebra to find its natural alignment. This sensation of lightness is real. It is not just an idea. Your body is responding to the intention you have set. It is metabolizing the release. It is recalibrating to a new state of being, one that is free from the constant draining effort of carrying this unnecessary weight. Stay with this feeling of lightness for a few moments. Let it permeate your entire body. Let it be a deep, cellular reminder of what it feels like to be unburdened. This feeling is your natural state. Peace is your birthright. This lightness is who you are beneath the layers of conditioning and guilt. Now, to solidify this release, let's offer a gentle affirmation to the subconscious mind. Silently repeat this phrase to yourself, letting the words be absorbed without any effort. It is safe for me to let this go now. Repeat it a few times, like a gentle mantra. It is safe for me to let this go now. This addresses the deep, primal fear that letting go of guilt will make you a bad or careless person. It reassures the oldest parts of your brain that this release is not dangerous. It is an act of safety. It is an act of wisdom. It is an act of profound self-care. The burden is now beside you. You can see it there on the floor if you wish. It has not been destroyed. It has simply been set aside for the night. You have claimed your right to rest. You have declared this space and this time as a period of sanctuary. Tomorrow, if you choose, you can look at the contents of that backpack. You can examine the fabric of that cloak. But for now, your only job is to enjoy the freedom, to revel in the lightness, to breathe into the newfound space in your body and mind. You have done the work. Now, all that is left is to surrender to the peace you have so courageously claimed for yourself. The physical act of release is complete. Allow the memory of this lightness to be the last thing your conscious mind holds on to as you drift further and further down into the healing depths of sleep. As you rest in this newfound lightness, feeling the space created by setting down that heavy burden, we can offer your subconscious mind a vital piece of wisdom to integrate as you sleep. This is a gentle reframing, a new distinction that can fundamentally change your relationship with yourself and your actions. It is the difference between toxic, free-floating guilt and healthy, specific accountability. For a mind that has been conditioned to feel guilty, these two things can seem identical, but they are profoundly different, and understanding this difference is key to lasting freedom. Let's explore this. Toxic guilt, the kind that follows you to bed at night, is vague, pervasive, and chronic. It's not about a specific action. It's about a general sense of your own being. It's the feeling that you are fundamentally flawed, that you are inherently not enough. It whispers, "I am bad." This kind of guilt has no clear solution. Because it's not tied to a single, repairable mistake, there's nothing you can do to fix it. It leads to a state of paralysis, of endless self-blame, and a constant feeling of anxiety. It is a heavy fog that colors your entire perception of yourself, draining your energy and stealing your peace. It is not a tool for growth. It is a weapon of self-punishment. Healthy accountability, on the other hand, is completely different. It is specific, clear, and temporary. It arises when you have acted out of alignment with your own values. It is the clear, calm inner knowing that says, "I did something that caused harm," or "I made a mistake." Notice the difference in the language. "I am bad" versus "I did something that wasn't right." One is a judgment of your entire being. The other is an observation of a specific behavior. Accountability is not a heavy fog. It's a clear signal. Its purpose is not to make you feel worthless, but to guide you toward repair and learning. It motivates you to take corrective action, to apologize, to make amends, to learn from the experience, and to make a different choice in the future. Once the lesson is learned and the repair is made, the feeling of accountability naturally dissolves. It has done its job. It doesn't linger and become part of your identity. Think of it this way. Toxic guilt is like a faulty smoke alarm in your house that goes off constantly for no reason. It blares day and night, filling you with anxiety and making it impossible to rest. You become so used to the noise that you either learn to tune it out or you live in a constant state of low-grade panic. Because it's always screaming fire. When a real fire starts, you might not even notice. Healthy accountability is like a properly functioning smoke alarm. It is silent most of the time. It only goes off when there is actual smoke. When it does, its signal is clear and urgent. It prompts you to find the source of the smoke, put out the fire, and clear the air. Once the danger is gone, it becomes silent again, returning to its watchful, quiet state. For many of us, our inner alarm system is faulty. We have been living with the blare of chronic guilt for so long that we have forgotten what inner quiet sounds like. We have come to believe that this constant, painful noise is the only thing keeping us safe and good. Tonight, as you sleep, you are giving your subconscious mind a new task. It is not to dismantle the alarm system entirely. That would be unwise. The task is to recalibrate it, to repair the faulty wiring, to teach it the difference between a real fire and a phantom threat. This recalibration happens on a deep level. You don't have to consciously figure it out. By simply understanding this distinction, you are planting a powerful seed. Your mind can begin the process of sorting through the old feelings of guilt. It can learn to ask new questions. When the feeling of guilt arises, a new, wiser part of you can gently inquire, is this the faulty alarm? The vague fog of, I am bad? Or is this a clear signal, a moment of healthy accountability for a specific action? If it is the fog of toxic guilt, you can learn to acknowledge it without believing it. You can say, that is the old faulty alarm again. Thank you for your concern, but there is no fire here. I am safe. You can then choose to turn your attention back to the present moment, back to your values, back to your own inherent goodness. If it is a clear signal of accountability, you can honor it. You can say, thank you for this information. I see that my words were sharp and I caused hurt. I will take responsibility and apologize tomorrow. And then you can let it rest. You have a clear plan of action. You don't need to punish yourself all night long. The alarm has done its job, and it can now be silent. This distinction allows you to reclaim your conscience from the grips of the inner critic. Your conscience is a beautiful and essential part of you. It is your inner compass, your connection to your deepest values of kindness, integrity, and love. Toxic guilt hijacks this system and uses it against you. By learning to differentiate between the two, you rescue your moral compass. You learn to trust that quiet, clear voice of accountability within you, and you learn to disbelieve the loud, shaming, and useless noise of chronic guilt. As you drift deeper now, let this distinction settle. Let's use one more analogy. Toxic guilt is like a perpetual, heavy, gray fog. It makes it difficult to see. It chills you to the bone, and it feels like it will never lift. Healthy accountability is like a brief, clarifying rain shower. It might be intense for a moment, but its purpose is to wash the air clean. It passes, and afterward, the sun comes out, and the world feels fresh and new. You are worthy of a clear inner sky. You are worthy of a life that is not shrouded in a constant fog of self-blame. You are capable and deserving of a healthy, functioning inner compass that guides you with clarity and compassion, not with shame. Allow your mind to absorb this new framework. Let it become a new file in your subconscious library, a new program that can run automatically. The program is called discernment. It allows you to honor your mistakes without condemning your being. It frees you to be a gloriously imperfect, learning, growing human being who is always, always worthy of peace, especially during the sacred hours of sleep. As your mind continues to absorb this new, healthier distinction between guilt and accountability, let us turn to another deeply ingrained belief that needs gentle reframing. It is a belief that sits at the very heart of the story of self-sacrifice. It is the tangled and misunderstood concept of selfishness. For many of us, selfish is one of the worst things we can be called. The fear of being seen as selfish has dictated so many of our choices. It's the reason we say yes when our body is screaming no. It's the reason we put our own needs on the back burner until they eventually burn out. It's the reason we feel a hot flush of guilt when we do something purely for our own well-being or joy. The inner critic uses the accusation of selfishness as its most powerful weapon to keep us in line, to keep us serving, to keep us sacrificing. But what if our definition of selfishness is completely skewed? What if we have been taught a definition that serves everyone but ourselves? Tonight, we are going to reclaim and redefine some sacred words. We are going to gently untangle the concepts of rest, boundaries, and self-care from the toxic label of selfishness. Let's start with rest. You have been taught to see rest as a reward you earn only after all the work is done. But the work is never done. The to-do list is infinite. Therefore, by this logic, you can never truly, guiltlessly rest. This is a system designed for burnout. A wiser, more sustainable perspective sees rest not as a reward, but as a prerequisite. It is the essential act that makes all other acts possible. It is not the opposite of work. It is the foundation of good work. It is not a selfish indulgence. It is a vital act of self-preservation that allows you to show up in the world with presence, creativity, and resilience. To deny yourself rest is not noble. It is an act of deep unkindness to your own body and mind. It is like expecting a car to run without ever refueling. It is simply not how the system is designed to work. So as you lie here, resting, let this new truth sink in. This is not selfish. This is essential. This is wise. Now let's look at boundaries. A boundary is simply the line where you end and another person begins. It is the compassionate recognition of your own limits. For someone steeped in the story of self-sacrifice, setting a boundary can feel like an act of aggression or rejection. Saying no can feel like you are saying, "I don't care about you." The guilt that follows is immense. But a boundary is not a wall you build to keep people out. It is a fence you build to protect the sacred garden of your own well-being. It protects your energy, your time, and your emotional health so that you have something genuine to offer when you choose to. Saying no to one thing is often saying yes to something else. Yes to your health, yes to your family, yes to your sanity. A boundary born of self-respect and love is one of the kindest things you can offer to yourself and ultimately to others. It allows you to give from a place of authentic desire, not from a place of resentful obligation. Let this truth settle. Setting a healthy boundary is not selfish. It is an act of self-respect. It is an act of clarity. Finally, let's reclaim the idea of self-care. In our culture, self-care has often been trivialized and commercialized, reduced to bubble baths and spa days. While those things can be lovely, true self-care is much deeper. It is the daily, consistent practice of listening to your own needs and responding with kindness. It can be as simple as drinking a glass of water when you're thirsty, stretching when your body is stiff, or taking 5 deep breaths when you feel overwhelmed. It is the radical act of treating yourself as someone who is worthy of care. The inner critic will tell you this is self-indulgent. It will list all the more important things you should be doing. But tending to your own well-being is not an indulgence. It is a responsibility. It is the foundational responsibility from which all other responsibilities can be met. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Self-care is the act of refilling your cup so that you have something to give to the people and causes you care about. Therefore, by its very nature, it cannot be selfish. It is the most generous thing you can do. The fear of being selfish is based on a fundamental misunderstanding. True selfishness comes from a place of deep inner poverty, a feeling of lack that drives one to take from others. Acts of self-preservation, rest, boundaries, and self-care come from a place of inner wisdom and a desire for wholeness. They are not about taking from others. They are about cultivating your own inner resources so that you are not a drain on others. Now, let's go even deeper. Beneath all of this is your inherent right to simply exist, to take up space in the world. You do not have to earn your breath. You do not have to justify your existence through constant action and service. You have a right to be here, to have needs, to have feelings, and to breathe simply because you are here. This is a truth that can feel almost shocking to a system that has been running on the fuel of earning your worth. But feel into it for a moment. Feel the breath moving in and out of your body. This breath is given to you freely. It asks for nothing in return. It is the rhythm of life itself, and it moves through you without any condition. Your existence is just as unconditional. Let this affirmation be a soothing balm for your soul as you drift toward sleep. My needs are valid, and meeting them allows me to show up more fully in the world. There is no selfishness in this. There is only wisdom. The world does not benefit from your exhaustion. The people you love do not benefit from your resentment. You do not benefit from your depletion. The world benefits from your wholeness. It benefits from your joy, your creativity, your presence, and your love. And all of these things are nourished by the sacred, essential, and deeply unselfish acts of rest, boundaries, and compassionate self-care. Allow your subconscious mind to rewrite the old definitions tonight. Let it release the toxic charge from the word selfish and replace it with a deep understanding of self-preservation. Let it embrace the profound truth that caring for yourself is the foundation for caring for anyone or anything else. As we journey deeper into the state of peace and release, we arrive at the very core of this healing work. We have observed the critic, acknowledged the story of self-sacrifice, and reframed the fear of selfishness. Now, we come to the foundational truth that lies beneath it all. The truth that, once fully absorbed, can dissolve guilt at its very root. This is the truth of your inherent, unshakable worth. For so much of your life, you have been living under the illusion that your worth is something you must build, earn, and constantly maintain. It is a structure built on the unstable ground of your actions, your accomplishments, your productivity, and your usefulness to others. On a good day, when you check everything off your list, when you are patient and kind, when you receive praise and approval, the structure feels solid. You feel worthy. But on a bad day, when you are tired, when you make a mistake, when you are unproductive, the entire structure feels like it's about to collapse. This creates a life of constant anxiety, a relentless striving to shore up the foundations of your own value. It is exhausting. Tonight, I want to invite you to consider a completely different paradigm. What if your worth is not something you build at all? What if it is something you were born with? Something that is as much a part of you as your own DNA? What if your worth is not a structure you erect, but the very ground you stand on? It is constant, solid, and utterly reliable. It cannot be diminished by your mistakes, and it is not increased by your successes. It simply is. This is a radical shift in perspective. It means that your worth is not up for debate. It is not dependent on your performance today, your weight, your income, your relationship status, or the approval of others. It is an absolute. It is the core of your being. Let's use an analogy. Your inherent worth is like the vast blue sky. Your actions, your feelings, your thoughts, and the events of your life are like the weather. Some days, the weather is beautiful, sunny, and clear. These are the days you feel productive and good. Other days, the weather is stormy, dark clouds, rain, thunder. These are the days you feel you have failed, the days guilt comes to visit. But through all of it, what has happened to the sky? Absolutely nothing. The sky was there before the storm. It is there during the storm, and it will be there after the storm is past. The clouds, no matter how dark or turbulent, can never harm or diminish the sky. They are simply temporary phenomena passing through its vast, unchanging expanse. You have been identifying with the weather. You have been believing that you are the storm cloud. You have been judging the quality of the sky based on the weather of the day. The invitation tonight is to shift your identification, to realize that you are not the weather, you are the sky. Your worthiness is that sky. The guilt, the self-criticism, the feeling of not enoughness, these are just storm clouds passing through. They feel real and all-encompassing when you are in the middle of them, but they are not the truth of who you are. The truth of who you are is the silent, peaceful, ever-present awareness that holds all of the weather, all of the experiences, without being damaged by them. So how do we reconnect with this core self, this sky-like nature? It is not a mental exercise. It is a process of feeling and remembering. Let your awareness drop down from the noisy chatter of your mind and into the quiet stillness of your body. Beneath the surface level sensations of tension or tiredness, there is a deeper field of energy, a quiet aliveness, a simple sense of presence. Can you feel it? It might be very subtle. It's the feeling of just being, not being good or being bad, not being productive or being lazy, just being. This is the home of your inherent worth. This core self, this essential being, has always been with you. It was there when you were a perfect, innocent baby, before you learned the concepts of good and bad, right and wrong. It was there in moments of pure joy, when you were so absorbed in something you loved that you forgot to judge yourself. It has been there in moments of profound stillness, perhaps when you were in nature, when the constant need to prove yourself simply fell away. This part of you is already whole. It is already peaceful. It is already free from guilt. It needs no improvement. It requires no justification. It is simply and profoundly enough. Your work is not to create this worthiness, but to remember it, to remove the layers of false belief and conditioning that have obscured it from your own view. Each time you let go of a layer of guilt, each time you release a should, you are not adding anything to yourself. You are simply revealing what has been there all along. Let this affirmation sink into the deepest part of you, the part that knows truth beyond the chatter of the mind. Let it be absorbed by every cell of your body as you drift into sleep. My worth is not up for debate. I am enough, simply by being. Feel the profound rest that comes from this statement. Feel the release of the endless, exhausting project of trying to prove yourself. You can lay down that burden for good. You don't have to pick it up again in the morning. When you know, on a cellular level, that your worth is inherent and unchangeable, the voice of the inner critic begins to lose its power. Its accusations and judgments start to sound hollow, like a distant radio playing a song you no longer believe in. It can still be there, but you are no longer compelled to listen because you are grounded in a deeper truth. You are grounded in the vast, peaceful sky of your own being. This is the ultimate antidote to guilt. It is not about becoming a perfect person who never makes mistakes. It is about realizing that your mistakes have absolutely no bearing on your fundamental value. You can be accountable for your actions. You can learn and grow from your errors, all while holding the unshakable knowledge that you are, and always have been, completely and utterly worthy of love, belonging, and peace. Let this knowing be the foundation upon which you sleep tonight. A foundation that is solid, secure, and infinitely compassionate. You are resting not just your body, but the part of you that has been striving for so long. You are letting that part finally come home. Home to the truth of its own magnificent, unconditional worth. As you rest in the deep and comforting truth of your inherent worth, let us take a moment to acknowledge a strength within you that you may often overlook. In the midst of focusing on your perceived flaws and failings, it is easy to forget the incredible resilience you have demonstrated every single day. I want you to truly honor the immense strength it has taken for you to navigate your life while carrying the heavy, invisible burden of chronic guilt. Think about it. You have gotten out of bed on days when the weight felt crushing. You have gone to work, cared for others, and met your responsibilities, all while a critical inner voice was narrating your every move. You have smiled, you have loved, and you have continued to show up, even when you felt hollowed out by self-doubt. This is not weakness. This is a profound and quiet form of heroism. It is the strength of a flower that grows through a crack in the concrete. It is the resilience of a tree that learns to bend in a relentless wind. You have not just been surviving, you have been functioning, and often functioning well, under a significant emotional handicap. Please, let yourself feel the truth of this. Let go of the story that you are fragile or failing. For a moment, see yourself through a different lens. The lens of deep respect for your own endurance. You are so much stronger than you give yourself credit for. Now, let's gently bring to mind some of your inner resources, the parts of you that exist outside the domain of the inner critic. We are not looking for grand achievements. We are looking for the quiet, authentic qualities of your true self. Without forcing it, allow your memory to drift back to a time when you acted from a place of clarity and inner knowing. A time when you made a decision, big or small, that just felt right in your gut, even if others didn't understand it. Remember that feeling of certainty, of being aligned with your own inner compass. That compass is a part of you. It is a resource you possess. It is more reliable and far wiser than the voice of guilt. Gently bring to mind a time when you showed genuine kindness to someone, not out of obligation or a desire to be seen as good, but from a spontaneous upwelling of compassion in your heart. It could be a kind word to a stranger, a moment of deep listening for a friend, or a gentle touch for a loved one. Feel the warmth of that memory. That capacity for authentic, unforced kindness is a part of you. It is a resource of immense value. Now, recall a moment of simple, pure joy. A time when you were laughing so hard you couldn't breathe. A moment you were captivated by the beauty of a sunset, the sound of music, or the taste of a delicious meal. In those moments, the inner critic was silent. You were simply present, absorbed in the experience of being alive. That capacity for joy, for presence, for wonder, that is a part of you. It is a vital and healing resource. These are not rare or special occasions. They are glimpses of your true nature, the self that exists beneath the clouds of guilt and self-judgment. You have a wellspring of wisdom, kindness, and joy within you. The problem is that the voice of guilt is so loud, it often drowns out the quieter whispers of these other, more authentic parts of yourself. The work is not to create these qualities, but to create more space to listen for them. By acknowledging these inner resources, we begin to build a new sense of self-trust. For so long, you may have trusted the voice of guilt above all others. You believed it was the voice of reason, of morality, of truth. You gave it the power to dictate your moods, your choices, and your sense of self. Tonight, we are planting a seed of healthy skepticism. We are beginning to question the authority of that voice. We are building a case for a different kind of inner governance, one that is based on the wisdom of your own compassionate heart. Imagine your inner world is a council room. For years, the inner critic has been the loudest member, shouting down all the others, controlling the agenda. But now, you are starting to recognize the other members seated at the table. There is the sage, who speaks with quiet clarity. There is the compassionate friend, who offers kindness and understanding. There is the inner child, who holds your capacity for joy and wonder. And you, as the conscious self, are the chair of this council. Your job is not to banish the critic, but to simply stop giving it all the power. Your job is to turn and listen to the other voices, to give them equal time, to value their contributions. When the critic starts its usual tirade, "You're not doing enough," you can now pause. You can turn to the sage and ask, "Is that true? What is a wiser perspective here?" You can turn to the compassionate friend and ask, "What is the kindest way to see this situation?" This is how you build self-trust, not by pretending you are perfect, but by learning to access a wider range of your own inner wisdom. You begin to trust that you have an inner compass that is far more reliable and life-affirming than the harsh, rigid rulebook of the critic. You learn that your own heart, when you listen to it, will guide you toward choices that are both kind to others and kind to yourself. This trust is not built overnight. It is built moment by moment, choice by choice. It is built every time you pause before accepting the critic's judgment as fact. It is built every time you validate your own feelings. And it is built during quiet times like this, when you consciously remember the truth of your own goodness, your own wisdom, and your own strength. So as you sink deeper into relaxation, let this feeling of quiet confidence grow. You are more than your guilt. You are more than your mistakes. You are a resilient being, possessed of deep inner resources. You have a wise and reliable guide within you. You are, and have always been, capable of navigating your life with grace and compassion. Trust this. Let this trust be the ground that supports you as you drift off to sleep. Let it be the strength you carry into your dreams. You are remembering your own strength. You are coming home to the truth of who you are, a person of immense resilience and profound inner beauty. As we begin to draw the more active part of this journey to a close, let's focus on integration. This is the gentle process of allowing these new perspectives to be woven into the very fabric of your being. It is not something you need to force or figure out. Your subconscious mind, in its infinite wisdom, will do this work for you as you sleep. Your only task is to remain open and receptive. We have traveled through a significant inner landscape tonight. We started with the heavy weight of guilt, that familiar nightly companion. We named the inner critic, observing its voice and its physical presence without judgment. We uncovered the deep story of self-sacrifice, the belief that our worth is tied to our usefulness, and we honored the innocent intention behind it. We found comfort in the universal truth that we are not alone in this struggle, validating the profound exhaustion that comes from carrying such a load. We gave ourselves explicit permission to be tired, to stop trying so hard, and to release the need to apologize for our own humanity. We learned to breathe into the feeling of guilt, not to fight it, but to hold it in a space of gentle acceptance, like a softening fist. We consciously set down the burden, using our imagination to create a tangible experience of release and lightness. From that place of lightness, we offered the mind a new framework, distinguishing between the toxic fog of guilt and the clear signal of healthy accountability. We reclaimed the sacred acts of rest, boundaries, and self-care, redefining them not as selfish, but as essential. We reconnected with the core truth of our inherent, unshakable worth, the sky that is unharmed by the passing weather of our daily lives. And just now, we remembered our own quiet strength, our resilience, and the deep inner resources that are always available to us. This has been a journey of seeing, of understanding, of releasing, and of remembering. Now, it is time to simply let it all settle. Imagine you have just planted a beautiful garden in your mind. You have carefully prepared the soil, removing the old rocks and weeds of self-criticism. You have planted new seeds, seeds of self-compassion, of inherent worth, of healthy boundaries, and of gentle acceptance. You have watered them with your attention and your breath. Now, the work is done. You do not need to stand over the garden all night, anxiously watching for sprouts. You simply trust the process. You trust that the sun and the rain, or in this case, the healing power of sleep, will do their work. The seeds will germinate in the darkness, in the quiet, all on their own. Trust in the wisdom of your body. Your body has a natural, powerful impulse toward healing and equilibrium. When you cut your finger, you don't have to consciously direct the cells to clot the blood, fight infection, and weave new skin. The body knows how to do this. It is an ancient, innate intelligence. In the same way, your psyche has a natural impulse toward wholeness. Now that you have quieted the mind's constant self-attack, now that you have created an inner environment of safety and compassion, the body and the subconscious mind can begin their deep work of emotional repair. They can process old experiences, prune outdated neural pathways, and strengthen the new ones you have introduced tonight. All you have to do is get out of the way. All you have to do is sleep. Let's take a moment to honor the journey itself. This struggle with guilt, as painful as it has been, has not been a mistake or a waste of time. It has been a profound part of your path. It is the very thing that has brought you here, to this moment of seeking a new way. It has been a powerful, albeit harsh teacher. It has taught you about the limits of self-criticism. It has shown you the dead end of trying to earn your worth. It has brought you to a place of such exhaustion that you are finally willing to surrender, to try something radically different, to be kind to yourself. Perhaps this struggle was necessary to crack open your heart, to make you receptive to this deeper truth. From this perspective, you don't need to resent the years you spent under the tyranny of guilt. You can look back on that part of your journey with a sense of gentle compassion. You were doing the best you could with the tools and beliefs you had at the time. Now, you have new tools. You are cultivating new beliefs. You are evolving. This is the beautiful, messy, and sacred process of being human. So as you lie here, on the cusp of sleep, feel a sense of gentle gratitude for it all. Gratitude for the struggle that initiated the search. Gratitude for your own courage in being willing to look within. Gratitude for the body that has carried you so faithfully. And gratitude for the deep, restorative sleep that is now coming to welcome you, to take these truths and integrate them into the very essence of who you are. There's a quiet wisdom being woven into your nervous system. A new truth is taking root in your heart, that you are worthy of peace, that you are deserving of unconditional self-acceptance, and that it is safe to let go. You have done enough for today. In fact, you have always been enough. Let this be the final, peaceful thought that you hold. Let everything else fall away. Let the body become heavy and the mind become still. You are ready now to simply receive the healing that the night has to offer. As the gentle tide of sleep begins to pull you away from the shore of wakefulness, we can perform one last quiet act of intention. This is not work. It is a soft whisper to the future, a way of preparing the garden of your mind for the morning to come. We are planting the seeds for how you wish to wake. For so many mornings, you may have woken up with a jolt, your mind instantly flooded with the to-do list, with a sense of being behind before the day has even begun. The weight of guilt, which you set down tonight, has a habit of returning with the first rays of dawn. So, let us set a different intention. Let us create a new possibility for your tomorrow. As you continue to breathe slowly and deeply, bring to mind the image of yourself waking up in the morning. See yourself in this very bed, the morning light just beginning to filter through the window. But this time, imagine waking up with a sense of lightness. Imagine that the first feeling is not one of pressure, but one of peace. Imagine your first conscious breath is a slow, easy one, and your first thought is simply, I am here. Imagine waking with a sense of curiosity rather than dread, a gentle curiosity about the day ahead, a quiet curiosity about how it might feel to move through this day without the constant companionship of self-criticism, What would it be like to make your coffee or tea with a sense of simple presence rather than a frantic mental accounting of your obligations? What would it be like to greet the day from a place of sufficiency, from the knowing that you are already enough before you have done a single thing? You are not trying to force this to happen. You are simply painting a picture for your subconscious mind, offering it a beautiful and compelling alternative to the old pattern. You are gently suggesting, this is also possible. Let's try this tomorrow. Let the feeling of this peaceful awakening permeate your body now. Feel the calm, the spaciousness, the gentle start. This is the seed you are planting for the morning. Now comes a crucial step, letting go of all the work. You have journeyed deeply tonight, exploring complex emotional landscapes. There might be a part of your mind that wants to cling to these ideas, to analyze them, to make sure you got it right. This is the part of you that still believes that effort and control are the keys to progress. But the deepest healing happens when we let go of conscious effort and surrender to a greater wisdom. So, it is time to release the need to analyze or figure it out. Let go of any attempt to remember all the steps or hold on to every insight. You don't have to. The important parts have already been absorbed by a level of your being that is far deeper than your conscious intellect. The seeds have been planted. Now you must trust the soil. Imagine all the thoughts, ideas, and concepts from our time together are like shimmering, golden dust. With a gentle exhale, imagine blowing this dust from the palm of your hand, releasing it into the vast expanse of your own inner being. It will settle where it needs to. It will integrate in its own perfect time and in its own perfect way during your sleep. Your conscious mind's job is over for the night. You can thank it for its participation and give it permission to go completely off duty. There is nothing more for it to solve, nothing more to understand. Its only task now is to dissolve into the stillness of rest. To deepen this state of release, let's do one final slow scan of the body. Bring your awareness to the very tips of your toes. Feel any remaining tension there, and with your next exhale, let it flow out and away. Your toes are soft, warm, and completely relaxed. Allow this wave of relaxation to move into the soles of your feet, your ankles, and your heels. Your feet have carried you all day. Let them be completely supported now, heavy and at ease. Let the softness travel up into your calves and your shins, releasing any tightness. Feel it pool in your knees, dissolving any strain. Now let this gentle warmth of relaxation move into your powerful thigh muscles. Let them go completely limp and heavy. Feel your entire lower body, from your hips to your toes, sinking into the mattress, grounded and deeply relaxed. Bring your awareness to your hips, your pelvis, and your lower back, areas that so often hold stress. Invite them to release, to soften, to spread out against the surface beneath you. Feel the wave of relaxation move up into your abdomen. Let your belly be soft. Let the organs within rest and digest, not just food, but the experiences of the day. Allow the relaxation to expand into your chest. Feel your heart beating in a slow, steady, peaceful rhythm. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your breath, effortless and free. Let this softness flow out into your shoulders. Let them drop away from your ears, releasing the last vestiges of the burdens they have carried. Let the wave of peace travel down your arms, through your elbows, into your forearms, and all the way to your wrists, hands, and fingertips. Your arms and hands are completely at rest. There is nothing for them to do, nothing for them to hold. Now, bring your awareness to your neck and your throat. Let them be open and soft. Release any tension in your jaw. Let your teeth part slightly. Let your tongue rest gently in your mouth. Allow your cheeks, your lips, and all the tiny muscles around your eyes to smooth out and let go. Feel the relaxation in your temples and across your forehead. And finally, let the crown of your head be soft and at ease. Your entire body, from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, is now in a state of deep, profound relaxation. You are ready for sleep. You have prepared the garden of your mind. You have released the need for conscious effort, and you have guided your body into a state of complete peace. The stage is set for a night of deep, restorative, and truly healing rest. Your body is at peace. Your mind is quiet. You are now standing at the edge of sleep, ready to surrender completely to its gentle tide. This is a moment of pure trust, a letting go of all conscious control. For the part of you that is used to managing, planning, and striving, this can feel like a vulnerable moment. But it is in this very surrender that the deepest restoration occurs. You are allowing the natural, ancient rhythm of sleep to take over, just as you allow your heart to beat and your lungs to breathe without your command. This is your body's innate wisdom, and you can trust it completely. To guide your mind across this final threshold, let's invite in some gentle, soothing imagery. Let these images wash over you without any need to hold on to them. They are like soft, passing clouds in the peaceful sky of your mind. Imagine you are lying not in a bed, but in a small, sturdy boat, floating on the surface of a perfectly calm, moonlit lake. The water is as smooth as glass, reflecting the stars above. The boat is held safely and securely by the water, rocking ever so gently with a rhythm that matches your own slow breathing. Inhale, and the boat rises just a fraction. Exhale, and it settles back down. There is nowhere you need to go, nothing you need to do. The boat is simply drifting, and you are being held. You can feel the cool, clean night air on your skin and hear the profound silence of the natural world around you. This is a place of absolute peace. Or, if you prefer, imagine you are nestled in a soft bed of moss on a quiet forest floor. Above you, the tall, ancient trees form a protective canopy, their leaves whispering softly in a gentle breeze. Dappled moonlight filters down, creating shifting patterns of silver on the ground around you. You can smell the rich, earthy scent of the soil and the faint perfume of pine. You feel a deep sense of connection to the earth beneath you, a feeling of being a part of something vast, ancient, and wise. The forest is breathing around you, and you are breathing with it. You are safe here. You are home. Perhaps you see yourself resting on a soft, warm sand dune on a deserted beach at twilight. The sun has just set, leaving the sky painted in hues of soft pink and lavender. The only sound is the gentle, rhythmic shushing of the waves washing ashore and then receding. Shh. In. Shh. Out. Each wave washes the shoreline clean, and with each wave you feel your own mind being washed clean of any remaining thoughts, any lingering worries. The rhythm is hypnotic, constant, and deeply calming. It is the lullaby of the ocean, singing you to sleep. Choose whichever image feels most soothing to you, or simply allow your own peaceful imagery to arise. The details don't matter. What matters is the feeling they evoke, a feeling of safety, of being held, of profound and simple peace. Let this feeling be your final anchor. Now, as your mind begins to drift and dissolve, let your awareness settle on one last simple sensation, the feeling of your own breath. Without any effort, just notice it. Notice the air flowing in, cool and fresh. Notice it flowing out, warm and soft. Your breath is the most reliable anchor you have. It is always in the present moment. It is the gentle, automatic rhythm that will carry you from wakefulness into the world of dreams. You can let go of everything else now. Let go of the images. Let go of my voice. Let go of the memory of the day. Let go of the thought of tomorrow. Let everything dissolve into this one simple, peaceful rhythm. The in-breath and the out-breath. Each breath is a wave, carrying you further and further out into the calm, deep ocean of sleep. With each breath, your body becomes heavier, your mind becomes quieter, and the boundary between you and the peace around you begins to blur. You are not just in the boat. You are the gentle rocking of the boat. You are not just in the forest. You are the quiet breathing of the forest. You are not just on the beach. You are the rhythmic sigh of the ocean. You are merging with the stillness of the night. You are surrendering to the vast, healing intelligence of the universe, which flows through you most powerfully when you are at rest. The conscious you, the thinker, the doer, the worrier, can now completely dissolve. It has done its job. It can rest. What remains is your pure being, ready to receive the nourishment and recalibration that only deep sleep can provide. There is no longer any separation between the peace you have been cultivating and the peace that you are. It is all one. The gentle tide is carrying you now. There is no need to swim or to strive. Just let it take you. Let it carry you into the deep, the dark, the quiet. Let it carry you into the healing mystery of sleep. The journey is effortless now. You are simply letting go. Your breathing is your lullaby. Your heartbeat is the steady drum of rest. The stillness is your final embrace. Surrender to it. It is safe. It is time. There is nothing more you need to do. Nothing more you need to hear. Sleep is not something you must chase. It is something that comes to you when you have become still enough to receive it. And you are so very still now. Sleep is coming to you now, like a soft blanket being drawn up over your shoulders. It is a presence, a quiet friend who has been waiting patiently for you all day. It asks for nothing but your trust. It promises nothing but the profound and simple gift of rest. You are safe. The night is watching over you. The quiet of the house is a guardian. The darkness is not an emptiness, but a sanctuary, a womb-like space where repair and renewal can happen on the deepest levels. Within this sanctuary, you are completely secure. You are whole. The journey you took tonight did not add anything to you because you were already whole. It simply helped you remember. It helped you come home to the peace that was always waiting for you beneath the noise of the mind. You are not the voice of the critic. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are not your exhaustion. You are the silent, aware presence that has witnessed it all with a quiet and growing compassion. You are the sky, vast and peaceful. And you are free. Free for these sacred hours from the need to be anything other than what you are, a human being at rest. Free from the obligation to strive, to prove, to become. Here, in the deep velvet of the night, your being is enough. Your breath is enough. Your stillness is enough. The feeling of being held is all around you now. You are held by your bed. You are held by the quiet of the room. You are held by the deep, silent peace of the night itself. It is as if the universe itself is cradling you, whispering, "Rest now. You have done enough. All is well." Let yourself receive this feeling. Let yourself feel completely and utterly supported. You can let go of the last remnants of holding on. You can release the tension you didn't even know you were holding in your soul. The night will hold you. Sleep will hold you. Peace will hold you. And so, with no effort, with no thought, you can now drift into the deserved peace that awaits. A deep, restorative, and guilt-free sleep. A sleep that will wash through you like a healing river, cleansing, nourishing, and preparing you for the gentle light of a new day. A sleep that honors the beautiful, resilient, and worthy being that you are. Receive it now. It is your birthright. It is your blessing. Rest well.